It's 8:32. Mayor Don Iveson, it's okay, wrap up your tweet. That's fine. You are Edmonton's tweeting mayor.
I'm verified now.
Did you get the blue check
did.
mark?
The coveted blue check mark. Yeah.
I mean, sure,
I feel like
70% popular support is one thing back in October, but that blue check mark is big. Welcome back to Breakfast Television, Mr. Mayor.
Always a pleasure.
I learned something early in my interviewing career, and that was stay out of the crosshairs of a hungry guest. And I imagine you must be feeling somewhat deprived on the nutritional standpoint because of a great cause that you're involved with this week.
Yeah, it's Live Below the Line week for myself and Councillor Andrew Knack and Councillor Mike Walters and a number of staff at City Hall. And we're all trying to live, and this is just for food, so this doesn't count, all of your other needs, shelter and transportation, but just for food on $1.75 a day, because that's what over 1 billion people live in that condition of depravity around the world, having to provide for all of their needs on less than $1.75 a day. And so in order to understand that, in order to simulate that, we've taken on this challenge, which is also a fundraiser for the Global Poverty Project, and the cause that I've chosen is a group called Raising the Village, which works with small municipalities in Africa to do development projects for infrastructure and nutrition and so on. So anyway, I haven't even had breakfast this morning, but this is it.
Well, it makes sense to bring you breakfast on Breakfast Television.
Absolutely.
What's on the menu today, Mr. Mayor?
Well, our every day this week, in order to stay within the budget, we got 30 cents a day for steel cut oats, which is pretty rough oatmeal, basically. And it's good. It's got a little bit of brown sugar. It's got a little bit of cinnamon in it. So it gets you going in the morning, but there's not much to it, obviously. And then our lunches vary a little bit, and then we splurge. So we've got burgers every day. One patty, one bun is $1, and that's for dinner every night. And so we're all putting as much ketchup on it as we can to try to keep our blood sugar up, because yesterday it was crashing a little bit.
Yeah, you actually did experience a bit of a health issue yesterday, I understand.
Well, nothing serious. Just I had a pretty ripping headache, and that was from a combination of I haven't had coffee for 2.5 days now, which I was really feeling that yesterday, and so I'm probably in withdrawal from caffeine, which I have an unhealthy relationship with, and then I think probably there was some blood sugar low yesterday, so I got to watch that. I need to work hard to stay functional. I'm still the mayor. I'm still at work while I do this, but yeah, I was really feeling it yesterday, and I'm definitely feeling a little slower this morning.
I will never forget a trip to Africa, Ethiopia, back in 2008, where an inability to secure what I deemed to be a necessary amount of fresh drinking water really got me thinking, and certainly planted a seed on how much we need to appreciate what we have here. How do you expect this experience will impact your job, your perspective as mayor of one of Canada's largest cities?
Well, this is a very prosperous place. The Edmonton region and northern Alberta and Canada, relative to the rest of the world, we do very well. So one of the easiest ways for us to meet the challenge is we're not drinking anything out of bottles. We're drinking tap water, which is basically free, right? But it's very easy to take that for granted. Now, if you have to drink it continually and that's all you're allowed to drink for 5 days, it's not that exciting. But it is really important to us. And so one of the things Raising Village and other development groups like that do is make sure that there's a secure source of fresh water that people can get to in their communities, because that's critical for life. It's critical for health. It's critical for nutrition. And rather than spending all your time going and hunting down water, if you can become literate, if you can provide for your family, if you can start a small business with a microloan, that access to fresh water is critical for people. So we take that for granted here, but we have a great system with some fine tap water that I'm getting well acquainted with this week.
And we know very well how proud you are of our tap water here in Edmonton.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, in closing, the mayor that came before you certainly made homelessness or the eradication of homelessness a priority of his. We know that poverty here at home has been on the radar of Edmonton's City Council. This kind of fits together nicely with that when it comes to awareness, doesn't it?
Well, it's really useful for decision makers to go through any kind of simulation exercise where we understand the conditions that the people we're trying to help are experiencing. And so in this case, I get to understand a little bit this week what it's like to not have as good a nutrition as I'm used to. I take for granted being able to eat whenever I want, virtually whatever I want. But there are a lot of people in Edmonton, including 100,000 people in our own city living below our poverty line, 30,000 of those who are children. And if they're in a situation where where they're not getting the nutrition they need, they have trouble learning, and they may have not as good brain development, frankly, through the developmental stages. So good nutrition is critical, and when that suffers, that can hold you back in life. And I'm understanding just for 5 days what that's like for many, many people in our city who are struggling to make ends meet.
Proud of you for doing this. Thanks for coming to talk to us about it on somewhat empty stomach, I'm sure. We love this tweet from your fellow elected representative, Andrew Knack, who's also taking part of this, along with Councillor Michael Walters. There you have it, another idea of how these folks are making it happen for $1.75 a day. You want to learn more about what Mayor Iveson and his councillors are doing? Live below the line. The link featured under the Inside BT link at breakfasttelevision.ca. I've also just tweeted it myself. We're back with news, weather, traffic next. It's 8:38 Wednesday morning.